yeah, everybody is excited, and it's definitely something that is very highly anticipated. So I saw the other day with Alex Eala, yeah, that's been a talk, and which is understandable. There's some players coming from respective countries, like she's coming from Philippines, which is now a big deal. She's been the biggest ever, tennis player from that country, which is a big country, and there's a big interest. Athletes, really. So it would be great to have her back.
Novak Djokovic has finally reached his breaking point. When a champion who has spent decades battling on the grandest stages of the world speaks out, you know it is serious. This is a man who has stared down the most intense, pressure-filled moments in the history of tennis and has never once backed away. Whenever he decides to address an issue happening away from the court, you had better believe that the entire world stops everything to listen. This is not just an ordinary voice, nor is it merely a sports commentator or a random social media personality sharing an opinion. This is Novak Djokovic, and right now he is directly confronting Oprah Winfrey without holding back a single syllable. Before I dive into the exact details of what Djokovic stated and how Winfrey chose to respond, we need to set the stage. You must understand the complete picture of this situation, because this unfolding drama is significantly larger than a simple clash between two famous celebrities. At its core, this narrative revolves around a remarkable young woman named Alex Eala, a Filipino tennis sensation who has completely taken the professional women tennis circuit by storm. Her spectacular arrival at the Indian Wells tournament currently has the entire global tennis community buzzing with sheer anticipation. Furthermore, her incredible journey to reach this very moment remains one of the most profoundly inspiring stories the sport has produced in many years. Eala is far more than just another promising young prospect, slowly climbing the rankings, because she is an absolute phenomenon and a bold statement. She stands as living proof that tennis belongs to the entire globe, proving that true greatness knows no borders, claims no single nationality, and possesses no predetermined appearance. Her devoted Filipino fans recognized and celebrated that undeniable truth long before the rest of the world finally caught up. These are the passionate supporters who believed in Eala from the very beginning, traveling thousands of miles from the Philippines to America just to stand in the bleachers and loudly cheer for their champion. That specific level of unwavering devotion is truly a beautiful thing to witness. That profound depth of loyalty represents the very heart and soul of what competitive sports are supposed to embody. When Oprah Winfrey voiced those racially charged remarks at Eala and her dedicated fans, she did not merely offend a single player, but rather attacked an entire community whose only supposed crime was loudly loving their champion. It seems as though Pauline was utilized almost entirely as a metaphorical symbol.
I think Paula Deen was used as sort of like a symbol, but I think lots of people use that word inappropriately all the time.
That exact instance is when Djokovic stepped up to the plate, marking the moment the greatest champion of his generation decided that remaining silent was simply no longer an option. During a recent public press conference, reporters specifically asked Djokovic to address the controversial remarks Winfrey had publicly broadcasted. He delivered a response so incredibly precise and deliberate that it sent a resounding message far louder than any heated shouting match ever could. He never raised his voice, nor did he lose his calm composure, and most powerfully of all, he completely denied Oprah Winfrey the basic dignity of speaking her name aloud. He simply addressed the toxic comments head-on, making it absolutely crystal clear that those specific types of words carry zero weight within the respectful world of tennis. He confidently stated that Eala is currently one of the most highly regarded talents in the game today. He expressed that she is among the most highly anticipated competitors entering the tournament right now, adding that those types of remarks simply do not make any logical sense to him whatsoever. He emphasized this because those toxic words have absolutely nothing to do with the actual reality of who Eala truly is, nor do they reflect the incredible legacy she has built throughout her career. Yes, the entire sporting community is overwhelmingly excited, and her continued success is undeniably something that everyone has been eagerly looking forward to witnessing. Consequently, Djokovic decided to take things a step further by plainly stating that individuals making these types of disparaging remarks must realize that the tennis world is simply not their personal territory. He made it known that this specific arena is not a space where their completely uninformed and racially charged opinions hold even the slightest bit of authority. Furthermore, whenever someone utilizes the massive weight of their public platform to tear down a superstar athlete who has rightfully earned every single accolade she possesses, they must face the consequences. In those situations, you should absolutely expect to be corrected in a loud, highly public, and immediate manner. That public correction comes without the slightest hint of an apology, which is exactly the defining characteristic that the globe has come to respect about Novak Djokovic over decades of watching him dominate at the highest level. He has never been the type of man to wrap uncomfortable truths in soft, comforting language whenever a genuine wrong has been committed against someone. Instead, he confronts the issue head-on, clearly stating exactly what needs to be said before confidently moving forward. Moreover, his deliberate refusal to even utter Winfrey and her specific name during that press conference served as perhaps the most deeply cutting statement of the entire ordeal. That purposeful omission clearly signaled that within the prestigious context of this sport, and during any serious conversation regarding the greatness of Alex Eala and her rightful place in tennis history, outside noise does not matter. It established that the commentary provided by Oprah Winfrey is simply not relevant or important enough to warrant any form of official acknowledgement from the tennis community. Now, we must examine exactly how Oprah Winfrey has handled this escalating situation, because her subsequent response has been every bit as telling and revealing as her initial controversial comments. Virtually any reasonable observer watching this drama unfold would have fully expected her to take a mature step backward and assess the situation. They would expect her to deeply reflect upon the significant harm her words caused and ultimately come forward with a completely genuine and heartfelt apology. That apology should have been directed not only to Eala, but also to the dedicated Filipino fans who were unfairly targeted, representing a vibrant community that was suddenly made to feel unwelcome in a sport their very own champion is actively transforming. As we all understand, these high-profile situations require a certain level of basic human decency and grace.
You know, you hear those, you see those fools on Twitter. Sometimes they say some of these ridiculous things, but nobody in their right mind is going to do that to my face.
Unfortunately, taking responsibility is not what happened here, because instead of embracing true accountability, Winfrey completely opted for the path of pure deflection. She openly claimed that these specific types of comments are completely normal, arguing that everybody uses this kind of language and insisting that she did absolutely nothing wrong. During her entire public explanation, she offered zero remorse and displayed an utter lack of basic human empathy. She stubbornly refused to acknowledge the very real emotional damage that her careless words inflicted upon actual human beings, and then she boldly decided to go on the offensive. She immediately began firing back at every single person who dared to speak out against her, aggressively targeting everyone from regular fans expressing their profound disappointment online to legendary professional athletes addressing the severe matter during official press conferences. She eventually went as far as making a truly extraordinary and baffling claim regarding these high-profile individuals. She claimed that people like Novak Djokovic completely lacked the necessary courage to challenge her face-to-face, foolishly insisting that the criticisms being spoken about her would never be repeated directly to her in person. However, the glaring flaw in her defensive logic is that Djokovic did not hide behind an anonymous social media account to voice his frustrations. He declared his stance at an official press conference entirely on the public record, allowing his famous name, his stellar reputation, and his entire championship legacy to stand firmly and proudly behind every single spoken word. Therefore, her flimsy defensive argument does not merely fall flat, but rather it completely collapses in on itself entirely. Furthermore, the unfortunate fact that she has aggressively twisted this situation into a petty personal battle, rather than simply taking mature responsibility, perfectly reveals exactly where her true priorities currently reside. Djokovic and his profound relationship with Alex Eala, alongside his deep investment in her ultimate success, runs so much deeper than just this solitary moment. He has actually served as one of her most passionately vocal and incredibly consistent supporters within the entire tennis community for quite a considerable amount of time. He has previously gone on the public record to confidently declare that Eala is undeniably the absolute greatest tennis talent to ever emerge from the Philippines. He noted that her prestigious presence on the grandest stages of the Women Tennis Association is a direct reflection of her truly extraordinary courage and iron resilience. He has constantly voiced his steadfast support for her journey. He has spoken passionately about how Eala, relying on absolutely nothing but relentless hard work and unwavering dedication, has completely transformed her career. She has successfully placed the Philippines onto the global tennis map in a spectacular manner that will proudly echo throughout the sport for countless generations to come. Furthermore, he has remained crystal clear that her immense pride regarding her beautiful Filipino heritage is absolutely something that should be celebrated at every possible opportunity. It is certainly not something to be cruelly mocked, unfairly diminished, or terribly weaponized as a target for racial commentary by media personalities who have never even held a racket. Fortunately, Novak Djokovic is not standing entirely alone in his noble choice to remain right beside Eala during this incredibly challenging moment. Rafael Nadal, another legendary titan of the sport, and widely considered one of the most highly respected voices in all of tennis, has also been a steady figure of encouragement. It is a remarkable feeling when two of the most heavily decorated champions in the entire rich history of professional tennis are firmly standing in your corner. It means everything when men who have successfully won every single trophy there is to win in this demanding sport see something within you that is truly worth defending. That incredible level of validation speaks to a profound truth about Alex Eala that no racial comment and no fabricated media controversy could ever possibly erase. Former world number one Kim Clijsters also shared her thoughts. She recently entered this important conversation, and the unique perspective she brought truly adds something highly significant to everything that is currently being discussed. Clijsters represents a truly formidable voice of reason and experience. She personally knows exactly what it demands to merely survive and ultimately flourish within the most unforgiving and grueling environment that professional tennis can possibly create. She spoke with deep, genuine admiration regarding absolutely everything that Eala has miraculously managed to accomplish thus far in her young career. She specifically highlighted the exceptional intensity of the competitive environment that has shaped Eala, noting the extraordinary level of daily commitment that specific environment has continuously demanded. That relentless dedication remains truly awe-inspiring to witness. Clijsters confidently stated that this unwavering focus is the true fundamental foundation lying beneath all of the recent success Eala has achieved on the professional tour. However, Clijsters also delivered a poignant message that connects directly to the very same sentiments that Djokovic has been repeatedly expressing to the public. She made it perfectly clear that alongside all of her undeniable greatness, Eala still desperately needs to be shielded and protected by those who genuinely care. Djokovic clearly heard that vital message, and he bravely answered the call without showing even a single moment of hesitation. He went significantly beyond merely speaking out against the highly controversial comments that Winfrey had carelessly broadcasted to the world. Djokovic has actually taken very concrete, proactive steps to fiercely advocate for the daily experience Eala faces as a fierce competitor at the highest professional level. He loudly raised his influential voice at the Australian Open, speaking directly to the tournament organizers about the critical importance of properly managing her demanding schedule. He passionately called upon the professional tour to strategically place her on the grandest courts, where her massive legions of fans can completely fill every single available seat. He demanded an environment where the electric atmosphere can properly match the massive scale of her historic achievements, allowing her to finally feel genuinely valued. Amazingly, throughout all of this chaotic turmoil, Alex Eala herself has continuously responded with a level of graceful maturity that is quite honestly breathtaking to witness. She gracefully sat down for a recent public interview and consciously chose not to direct even a single negative word toward anyone who had spoken against her. She calmly explained that she deliberately chooses to view absolutely everything in her life through a highly positive and uplifting lens. She eloquently stated that even when she has been treated completely unfairly by people wielding enormous platforms, she simply refuses to become bitter. She promised that she will never allow that toxic darkness to define her character or dictate how she gracefully moves through this world.